How y'all doing? Once again, I got to represent Scotias in the House. And the reason we do that, you have to understand, the indigenous population of blacks in Nova Scotia have been there for 12, 13, 14, 15 generations, and we are all related, truly. So you have to acknowledge your family. And we have certainly embraced the larger family of African Canadians within the country. But I'm here today to share with you some information. I was going to do it by video, and you weren't going to have to listen to me. And we had some technical difficulties, so now you're going to have to listen to me, so bear with me. I want to just give you a little bit of information about myself as an African Nova Scotian and tie it into the program that I'm here to talk about and let you know some of the ways in which this was accomplished in Nova Scotia. And I know Brother Braithwaite is going to keep us on task with the time, so when the time's up, I'm going to stop talking. I am born the middle child of seven of an African Nova Scotian family. I was born and raised in the town of New Glasgow, which is 100 miles, and I'm sorry, I'm not metric, but 100 miles from Halifax, which is the capital of Nova Scotia. At that time, my parents, my mother was highly educated. She had a grade 11, and my father had a grade 6. And the one thing they said to their children is, you're going to get your education. So at the age of 16, when I thought I was going to quit school, my mother said, fine, where are you going to be working? Because you're either working or you're in school. So I decided it was easier to stay in school and get my grade 12 than it was to be working, so that's what happened to me. I was fortunate at the time that recently at Dalhousie University, a program called the Transition Year Program had been created in 1970. Some of my alumni are in the room today. TYP, represent? All right, there it is. And I say that because we are the beneficiaries of an access program, one of the first of its kind in the country. In 1970, the TYP program was created. And were it not for that, many African Nova Scotians would not have been able to get a university education. In 1970, Rocky Jones, one of the founders of that program, has told us there were less than 5 African Nova Scotians who had graduated from university. So we recognize the need for that, and that program is for Aboriginal and African Nova Scotian students. So I was able to get an education and escape New Glasgow. Excuse me. We've been working along in Nova Scotia doing things that needed to be done. We haven't necessarily asked if we could do it, we just did it. And as a result of it, we've been able to accomplish some things, but we also have a fairly small population. So I think we're able to do some things with the size of our population that may be more difficult in larger settings. The African Canadian Transition Program has been established at the Nova Scotia Community College. As far as we know, it is the only Afrocentric adult learning program of its kind in the country. Our students, and I'm going to quote, since I'm making this up on the fly, since the video was supposed to tell you all this, I'm going to quote some of the comments in our brochure. Our mission is to provide African Nova Scotian adult learners with viable opportunities to gain academic, social, and personal skills necessary for furthering their career goals, while promoting excellence and affirming cultural identity through African-centered values. This Afrocentric program promotes social change by creating opportunity for African Canadian students in accessing college and university. Our students are completing their grade 12. They do not have their grade 12 because the vast majority of them have been expelled from school. And we all know the reasons why black students are expelled from school. We have had students from the age of 18 to 70 in our program. We've been in place for 3 years. We are concluding the pilot stage of our program. We're not certain what the program is going to look like next year because they're doing the program evaluation, and we'll find out at the end of the year how it looks. But right now, our students come to an institution, and many of them have fears and concerns about that institution because the education system has not been kind to them. I have done assessments on students who have left school in grade 11 and 12, and one who completed her grade 12, and those students are illiterate. You tell me how anybody can get to grade 11 or 12 and not be able to read and write. That's the education system we're dealing with. So many of our students, and certainly not all of them are like that, but many of our students have had to really struggle. They have issues of self-esteem, self-confidence. They have not necessarily been raised in Black communities. They've been raised in the larger urban setting and have not necessarily had a strong Black community to support them. Our program is an Afrocentric program. The staff of the program are African Canadian. The administrators, the instructors. For many of them, it is the first time they've had a Black instructor, Black teacher. We start our days, our classes, with either proverbs or inspirational sayings. We adopt Ngozo Saba as our principals, and we are an inclusive program. The students are part of shaping the program that they're attending. Yes, they have to accomplish academic goals as far as their requirements for their grade 12 certificate, but we're able to use material that speaks to them, their heritage, who they are. And it's the first time for many of them, and until I finished high school and got to TYP, I had never been in a setting like that. So our students are able to develop their ability to succeed in what I consider to be somewhat of a hostile environment, because the institution of the community college is not an Afrocentric environment. And what we want our students to be able to do, they will take, most of them will take more than a year to complete their grade 12. So after the year that they're in our program, they continue their grade 12 completion at the community college. The majority of them stay at the same campus that the program is at, and because of that, they're able to interact with the staff and have that support. Our classroom is an Afrocentric classroom. We have designed it with things on the wall that look like us and that inspire our heritage. The colors are Afrocentric colors, and when you walk by and you see the green and the red and the purple, many people have stopped by and said, "What's this about? What are you guys doing in here?" Plus the fact that you see a group of Black people, and of course people are curious, so we love to tell them what we're about, what we're up to. We are a program of excellence, and the students who are here today will tell you that they get tired of that. But we don't accept less than they're capable of. And it is a struggle, because when you walk in the door and believe that you have nothing to offer, just for somebody to tell you that what you are offering is not good enough is very frustrating. So I see that, is my time up?
No, you got another 2 minutes.
I have another 2 minutes. I'm going to talk for another 2 minutes. The wonderful thing of it is, though, is that I have seen students who have truly come alive. I've been there for the 3 years that the program has been in existence. And I have seen students who thought that they couldn't accomplish anything sit in those classrooms, and I'm not talking about when they're in the program, when they go on to complete their grade 12 through the regular adult learning program. I have seen our students. At one point I walked by the Learning Center, and there were about a half a dozen students in the Learning Center working on assignments and studying, and they were all Black students. The Learning Center is open to all students in the college, but it was our students who went through the program who recognized the need to put the time in to accomplish the academic goals. I have seen several of our students walk across the stage and receive their grade 12 certificate. I am here today with 4 students, and I'm going to embarrass them and ask them to stand at this moment, please. Stand up. You know I'm not playing.